It was an extremely difficult decision, one that we took great care and concern to make tonight in our deliberation, but one ultimately that we had to make because it's in the best interest of the students that we serve.
Teachers, staff, and students in EPISD waking up to a new reality this morning. Last night, the EPISD board approved a declaration of financial exigency. That means they can begin the process of mass layoffs to address a $52.8 million budget deficit. The board also approved an option to cut fewer teaching positions than originally proposed, leaving in place a $4.3 million deficit. In total, the reduction in force amounts to 54 teachers, 40 contract employees, and 150 other employees and support staff to part-time paid employees.
It's hurtful. You know, that it has gotten to this point in EPISD. Although I do have to say that I'm rather relieved knowing that we're not looking at 200 plus positions being eliminated, but rather looking at only 54 at this point, even though it means that the deficit that the board will have to deal with and the district will have to deal with is much higher than we wanted it to be.
Superintendent Dr. Brian Lusk expressed confidence that the district could exit financial exigency by this October.
I feel confident that the decision the board made this evening helps us get into a position to being financially stable and moving in the right direction, yes.
This whole situation took a drastic turn really in just a matter of weeks. Remember, KTSM spoke to Dr. Lusk last month about the budget shortfall. KTSM's Andy Morgan asked him, is the district considering cutting jobs? And here's how he responded in that interview.
People will not lose their jobs. I want to be clear about that.
Well, less than a week after that interview, EPISD's Chief Financial Officer Martha Aguirre resigned from her position. 2 weeks after her resignation, the board presented audit findings that Dr. Lusk said painted a different picture than what was discussed at the beginning of the month. Here's what Lusk said at that meeting regarding conversations he had with Aguirre on the district's financial situation.
It was a surprise. We were meeting weekly to discuss the budget, and obviously most of the discussion was future facing, but also we had conversations about the current and did not expect to hear the financial situation that was portrayed.
Well, KTSM has since obtained Aguirre's letter of resignation. It reads in part, quote, "Your," and she's referring to Dr. Lusk in this letter, "expressed lack of confidence in my technical abilities, along with repeated dismissive responses to the information I have shared, has made it increasingly difficult for me to continue effectively in my role," end quote. You can find Aguirre's resignation letter as well as our extensive coverage on EPISD's financial crisis over on our website. That is KTSM.com. And remember, you can always stay up to date with our latest stories and all the latest weather conditions on our free KTSM 9 News app.